Alright, what's up guys? I gotta get my thoughts down now or else I'm gonna forget them. I'm 2 chapters in to Eden's Zero. I'm gonna get my initial thoughts because I'm sure they'll change later, so I just want to get these out on paper right now. I said on paper, but I meant on video. So we're going to talk about Eden's Zero, the first 2 chapters today, and sort of what we've learned so far, and my thoughts, because I have some. So right out of the gate, it is very similar in a lot of ways to Fairy Tail, which comes as a surprise to nobody. And I feel like this is going to be a series that I'll be interested to read more on, but it's not something I'm going to, rave about. You get it? It's rave. Anyway. The first 2 chapters do go a long way to establish the world or worlds, or I'm kind of in the boat of Shiki right now. I don't fully understand the worlds thing, but yeah, apparently there's space and they fly between them to go to different worlds. It's very different from Fairy Tail where they stay on one continent. And it's been a long time since I've read Brave Master, so I don't remember how all of that worked. But in general, we've seen 2 worlds now and a giant floating space lady and some dragons in space. And so one of them is like fully robot powered, but all the robots were dying. And another one is where the Adventurers Guild is. And it is kind of interesting to see the flip-flop of Lucy bringing Natsu to the guild hall, Rebecca bringing Shiki to the guild hall, the Adventurers Hall, instead of vice versa with Natsu bringing Lucy. It's different. And the idea that we're actually starting with a character who has no proper idea of how human interaction works is kind of unique, because once we met Natsu in Fairy Tail, he already sort of adjusted himself to human life after being abandoned by the dragon that he called his father. And in this instance, he actively leaves the world that was the one that raised him because of the way that the robots were. They were dying, and because the power was running out, they had to do something different, and it was unique, I'll just say that. So as of right now, it is kind of different. It is actually refreshing as well to see that there is only a bit of fan service so far. Hiro Mashima definitely seems to be dialing it back a little bit. Not by much. There's still some differences that we don't see. Like the first main interaction with Rebecca and Shiki being Shiki grabbing her tits. What else is new? Hi YouTube, you want to demonetize me now? But the way they interact is actually very different from what I've seen from Fairy Tail and what I've been used to with Fairy Tail, because the initial interaction is somebody who's never seen a human before, as opposed to somebody who's very familiar with humans and just not very socially adept like Natsu was. I'm mainly going off of the stuff that I've seen so far, obviously. I don't know what I don't know, and I've only read 2 chapters, but I wanted to get this down because there are quite a few things that I'm sure I'll get over as I read that I'm going to talk about in a minute, but for right now I'm just talking about the stuff that is new and unique and is actually interesting to me. Like the fact that space is a thing, and B-cube and B-cubers are a thing, which sort of is interesting, that one of the main parts of being an adventurer is to record it and become famous on B-tube or B-cube. It hits a little close to home, but I can relate, and I guess Hiro Mashima, having been making these for so long, kind of realizes that YouTube's a thing. I don't know. And considering that considering that Rebecca is a B-cuber and she wants to become more famous, she sort of, goes to this place and the adventure begins there where she meets the robots and the adventure, okay, let me just get into some of the things story-wise that kind of concern me. So one of the first things to concern me is the fact that Shiki is apparently known through the universe as the grandson of the Demon King. And I don't really like stories that have sort of the overall hero of time syndrome. Like with Fairy Tail, the story didn't really play it into Natsu being the one to do, Natsu opposed what he was originally intended to do, which I kind of liked, because he was originally intended to be one of the main demons of the Book of Zeref, to kill Zeref. He goes against that. He actually is completely opposed to what his main prophesied goal would be. Hopefully that's the same here, but they establish it very early. They don't establish the whole Natsu thing until way later in the series, when Hiro Mashima started kind of writing the story out of his ass. I mean, they clearly are establishing that very early on, and I'm sure there's going to be differences in the story. The world's going to hold on to me for quite a while, I'm sure, and the differences in the story will probably also hold me for a while. But speaking of differences, let's talk about what I mentioned earlier, the things that are not different. So I alluded to earlier that I sort of misspoke, but I didn't, with Lucy and Natsu versus Rebecca and Shiki, because the characters are very similar. Shiki is basically Natsu, except he's starting way later in life learning what people are and how to interact in society. And Rebecca is basically Lucy, except Happy is her sidekick instead. And it's literally just Happy. I don't care what you say about it not being the same Happy. It is literally a cat from the planet Exceed. It's a robot that turns into guns as well, I guess, and Rebecca's actually more competent at fighting people than Lucy ever was until the later seasons. And apart from that, it's just freaking Happy. So don't tell me it's different, it's just Happy. Getting into other character designs with some art, we've got Wendy in spandex. We've also got a character that looks like Freed, and, okay. Like, the Demon King straight up looks like the demon from the Book of Zareth. And at the end of chapter 2, we have basically as straight a ripoff as you could have. We have Elsie Crimson? Elsie Crimson. Or is this Scarlet, anybody? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole about this, but there are things that I'm sure I'll get over like this with the series, but there are things that I look for in shows and in manga, and uniqueness is one of them, and I'm going to continue to give this show a chance, but at the point where I feel like I'm just getting the same story recapped, I will drop it. I'm just going to say that now. This is not a bad thing right now because we're early enough in the series that if these characters, while similar, are different, then I will continue watching, or reading rather, but as of right now, like, I'm giving it a 5-chapter rule. If it hooks me after 5 chapters, more so than it already has, I'll continue. I'm not saying it's a bad series. I'm sure many people will like it, and hopefully I'll like it by chapter 5. But like, it's definitely got some unique aspects to. Actually, I didn't even talk about the powers yet. So Happy's a mech, and he can turn into guns. I did mention that earlier, and Lucy's good at. Rebecca's good at fighting, which was something Lucy was only good at towards the end. And Shiki has ancient abilities. Oh yeah, let me see if this sounds familiar. Dark Age magic, something that nobody knows anymore, or very few people know. And he can use it, I think it's what, ether magic, ether mech, something or other. Gravity ether gear is what it was. And it's from the Dark Ages, so nobody really knows it, except for him. So sort of like Dragon Slayer abilities, not anybody new Dragon Slayer ability because it's ancient magic and he happens to know it. But anyway, yeah, the powers are unique. Shiki can play with gravity. We have yet to see anybody else with ether gear. We've just seen people with guns and cubes. I like it so far, but I do have things that I don't like about it, like the fact that I can pretty much mistake any character for any character in Fairy Tail, and I'd probably be pretty damn close. In fact, we have a couple people like Team Shadowgear showing up, which I made a reference to earlier. So yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to keep watching or reading, and we'll see. But overall, I just wanted to get these thoughts out initially. I didn't really script this. I just wanted to get it out because I've been read the first 2 chapters, and I felt like I was getting sort of a flip-flopped fairy tale with some characters that I was already very familiar with, or at least the character designs I'm very familiar with. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'm definitely going to keep giving it a chance. Don't think that I'm hating on the series. I think it is interesting, and I will continue reading. But after we hit whatever the most recent chapter is, and I've kind of fully caught up, I'll let you guys know how my thoughts have changed. If I get that far, if I hit chapter 5 and I'm still not hooked, I will let you know then. If I am hooked and I continue on to chapter 10, then I'll give another video for that. But otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what y'all thought in the comments. Do you hate me now because I gave a pretty big raft of crap to this series for basically making characters with different stories that look like other characters? Let me know in the comments, and I'm probably gonna have to wrap up because I hear people working upstairs again. Comment, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one. Hey guys, just hopping in at the end here. Thanks for watching through the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. I do still have merch. I've actually had it for quite a while, but not a lot of people know about it or care. And so if you guys want to support me or check it out just because it looks cool, go to the link in the description. You can see some of the designs I have, like the Steel Frodo in Steins Gate design, or even the Mob Psycho 100 design, and maybe even buy one if you like it, or don't. I cried myself to sleep at night anyway. So either way, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.